Welcome, folks, to the Supermator Brothers podcast as we recap episodes 13 and 14 for Big Brother Canada 11. I'm Jaemeel Robinson, joined by the ever awesome Foster. How's it going?
Doing well, doing well. You know what, Jaemeel? It's a great night because it's a long weekend and everyone gets a day off tomorrow, right? It's like a standard holiday. It's great.
I agree with you, although I know that I'm most likely going to be doing some kind of work. Money never sleeps, as they say. So I will be hunched over my laptop working on another project that is needs to be done as soon as possible. And how soon is possible? Right now. But we're here to talk about Big Brother Canada 11. This is the recap for episode 13 and 14. As I mentioned before, we're going to briefly be talking about the veto, which happened yesterday, and today's eviction, where Dan S. will be the first member of our jury. How do you feel overall about the decision to vote out Dan S.?
I think it's cut and dry. Like the way that it was set up with Santina this week as the invisible HOH. She used that to basically just say, hey, you know what? I just want to either get out either Ty or Dan. And the easiest way to do that was to put both of them on the block at the same time to not backdoor one of them, right? Because she knew that if she did, she could easily put somebody up like Claudia to go against them. And like once again, like we got to the vote, and I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to catch up, whatever, right, for the night, and I'm like, well, I know first of all who's pretty much going to vote. I know it's going to be a majority. It's going to be for Dan, right? And then they announced that it's a sweep, and I'm like, well, I'm not surprised with that either, right? So as much as like it's interesting because it was a solid week, as Invisible HOH. But the problem was it was following the aftermath of last week, right? And last week was just catastrophic.
As things go for house, it always makes it's always good to kind of have a calm week after a big firework week, just because you don't want the house to be constantly on edge. You want it to settle because once things get chaotic, that's where pieces move all over the place, and you want it to settle so you know where the pieces on the board are before you flip over the table again. So we might see some interesting fireworks come next week or this upcoming week for Big Brother. But as for now, this was a pretty straightforward week. But that being said, there are still things to talk about. So let's kind of just set the stage. The This week is the Who Done It week, so that means the HOH and the veto holder winner are both invisible. That being said, they both told a whole bunch of people who they were, and therefore it wasn't that much of a secret. How much so? We'll kind of get into it in this episode. Now, prior to the veto episode, we learned that Santina was the HOH, and she put up both Dan S. and Ty on the block. And we lead into the veto episode and kind of see the aftermath. Immediately, people start suspecting that it's most likely Renee, and Renee starts getting the fallout from that accusation. She took it extremely personal. Extremely.
Well, she did, but at the same time, though, right? She like the way that they portrayed it was that she defended herself. Like she wasn't vulgar or anything or attacking anybody, right? But I guess what it seemed to me is that I can understand that when you're accused as much as you are, then I would take it personal as well, right? Because just like, well, you're not believing me at this point because I've been telling you this whole time that I'm not the invisible HOH, right? So it was interesting because I thought it was the three girls, Renee, um, Claudia, and Shania really crumbled these last two episodes.
Just wow. So, okay, side note. I was listening to other podcasts as well. I do that too. And I have to agree in the sense that I hate when people start using nicknames because it's annoying. So they call Shania Nene.
Oh God.
They
Yeah.
call uh, Claudia Cece, and and then was that
Nay.
Santina is I
Oh,
think
yeah.
TT or Tai Tai or something, or uh, something. It's stupid as well, right? Like these are the weakest nicknames. Like I hate
Yeah.
them to begin with, and then plus they're constantly using it. It's like no, it's just terrible. Anyways, you're absolutely right. They extremely crumpled. From what we were seeing last week, it looked like they were directly in the middle between like the two opposing forces that we were really seeing in terms of like Hope, Kuzi and company, and then you had Zach and company, and the girls could bounce back and forth. They kind of shown that they would are willing to work with either side. This week there were no illusions. It was like they were with Ty and Dan S, right? Renee seemed kind of like on shaky grounds. Santina's by herself. And then you have, Hope, Kuzi, Jonathan, Daniel, and Anika that were on the other side of the house. And this all girl alliance thing that was talked about like earlier last week is just like a distant memory. The one thing I couldn't understand was how is it so that Shania, Claudia, and Renee were so close, and for both Shania and Claudia to just have no faith in Renee just seems like mind blowing to me.
I don't understand where the perception came from that Renee's not trustworthy, right? Because it was very early on that what was their alliance called, the three of them? It was
The girly pops.
the girly pops. So you know what I mean? Like I don't understand where, like, once again, this is the issue. Once again, we keep bringing it up with not seeing or knowing enough with the live feed, the lack of live feeds, and only the digital dailies, right? So with regard, because we don't see the progression of this deterioration in their relationship, right? Because it doesn't seem that it's like, oh, we just don't believe you all the time, right? There's obviously other things going on, right? And Renee's obviously put out something or said something. You know, and I'm not giving accusations. I'm just saying that they're
There was some kind
they
of
were good. They were good, and
deterioration of
now
their
they're
love.
not. They were good, and now they're not. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. And the fact that they're not showing it on television is a problem. And that's like, that should always be the focus, I feel, for the show. Show your work, right? If you're going to present something as be like the situation, show us what led up to that situation. Show your work, right? And in this case, the assumption that we have to draw is that the the girly pops were each were hooked up with another person, right? And Zach was supposed to be the third with Renee, but Zach never really shown Renee like that kind of close knit like feeling that Robert was showing for Shania, and Claudia had with Ty. So, and I think Renee was pretty vocal, or wasn't not vocal enough in terms of defending Zach in his elimination week. So I think that because they didn't stick to the group per se, she's on the outs, right? Or her lack of action in that regard was the reason too. That's just speculation, mind you, because once again, we didn't see the work being shown. So that's a little disappointing. Well, um, at the flip side, we start seeing the different reactions from other people. You know, uh, a lot of campaigning and people trying to figure out exactly who is responsible. Um, Renee is on high alert. Um, she she feels that Santina is, is nipping at her heels and possibly saying her name and doesn't want to be in the same room as Santina. And which, if Renee's feeling that she's out on a limb, she should be trying to connect with people, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why people aren't trying to pick up Santina at all. She's obviously seemingly on her own, right? And the only
Just like
close
she's
to
just a
person she's
rogue.
with
She's
is
just
Jonathan.
without Zach. Like once again, she had Zach in the first week, and then after that, she's just been and then she was kind of with him with Dan, and then after that, it just fell off. Right, and she's doing her own thing. Right, but she's doing her own thing on her own with nobody else. Right. Like it would have maybe been a little bit different. She would have been picked up if she was HOH this week. But once again, like the way that she's played the last what we saw in the last two episodes is she really, first of all, she's looking for trouble, right? She's following everyone. I understand that. She's trying to make. She's like, I need to make sure everyone is good. You know what I mean? Make sure we're on the same page. Like it's just like, no, that's not. You're because once again, then there was the blow up, right, with Dan, right? Because it escalates to a point where it's nice is not enough, and it explodes, right? So it's
But I didn't think Dan did any favors. Like, when Dan and Santino are having a conversation, he doesn't indicate, like, he's like, I'm not willing to commit to you or anything like that. I'm like, dude, you possibly could go on the block, make as, like I mentioned before, write as many checks as you possibly can. All right, let the mall bounce, because they're not going to hold you over the coals when you're out of the house. You're out of the house, right? Write those checks, right? Right, and eventually, whatever one, hopefully you write the right check to the person who's in power, and right, you're golden, right? But you declining everything is terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Secondly, um, they went after Santina, and Santina also got herself riled up. So we're gonna be bouncing between both episodes, folks. So let's just a heads up. Ty having that conversation with Santina, right? Ty like I have to go back and quote Hope. When Hope found out that there's a possibility that Ty was going to be coming down, Ty goes, when you're younger, you learn, right, to don't touch fire. Once you've been burned, you don't try to touch it again, right? In regards to Ty. And we see exactly this is how Ty plays. Ty comes and he acts all calm and smooth, and then he tries to rile people up. And then when he has people riled up, he does stuff that like purposely irks them. Like, why are you raising your voice? Right? Like he says stuff. People do that all the time, right? In terms of trying to control your reaction or to escalate your reaction, right? They'll tell you to do something, and then you won't do it just because you don't want to be controlled by this person, right? It's something that is psychological warfare, and you see him playing it all the time, right? And people have their coping mechanisms. Hope agrees to everything Ty says, right? I'll do it for you. I'll take you off the block. Don't worry, I got you. If it's in my power, I'll take care of you. And then when Hope leaves the room, he's like, I'm not doing anything for you, right? That's Hope's coping mechanism. Santina has one where she gets flustered by this situation when she's confronted. That's why you see like Ty's there. Ty knows what he was doing when he was getting that confrontation between Renee and Santina, right? He was trying to blow her up, and it worked. It worked. And I'm sad that people like Santina totally fell into that trap, right? Santina shouldn't. They should not. Don't fall into that trap.
Once again, she was rogue. She did not have anybody to like go on this journey with her anymore, right? Like she had no one, but once again, like you said, she was not making, like, just like Renee in a sense, she was not making connections, right?
Yep.
There was a period of time after Zach left where she was like, okay, I'm good, I'm gonna move on, and then she won Invisible HOH, and then it just like flipped, and it was just like, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want, right? And it's just like, okay, well, obviously we understand like you're going after Ty and Dan, but you keep saying that you wouldn't put up Ty in your life or something like that, right? It was like, seriously. So, oh my God, Sam.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
we hear you. Okay, well, okay. Once again, the vetoes, the eviction was at the end of the night, Sam. Just like the end of this podcast, we're gonna try at the end of this podcast. Okay, we're gonna get to her. Okay, don't worry. Okay. But see,
I totally messed up your train of thought. I'm sorry.
you totally did. You totally did. But oh, jeez. Thanks. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, Sam. Sam, be nice. No, you were talking about like in terms of Santina's game after Zach left, and going rogue, and
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem, right? Is that she obviously does not do well on her own, right? She kind of like she tried to trust in Jonathan, right? But it obviously seems that they're not very close, right? They're it's for whatever reason that she trusted in Jonathan. Mostly, I think it was because of his character, not because of their relationship. And Jonathan still told people his alliance,
yeah.
the crown, as we'll like we'll want to discuss that right now. Like, oh my goodness.
Sure, let's get to it.
Let's just get to it. Hope comes in, barging in. He's like, I know what we're gonna do. Right? And then he goes all like, regal on everyone, right? Like it's just like he gets all proper on everyone. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have like the five points of the crown. We all gonna put the crown on, and make decisions together. And like from a moral standpoint, it seems like a good group.
He's coming in.
Not perfect, but it's good.
I just like, okay, so we know that Daniel C, Anika, and Kuzi are a group in their own called the Shady Bunch, and the Crown is the addition of Hope and Jonathan. Making an alliance where you and your number one are the least powerful people in the group isn't always the best approach. But like, hey, you two technically should be compies, although Jonathan hasn't done much. Jonathan now is tied with Anika in terms of any type of challenge wins. Funny enough, but we'll see how it goes. They've given the Shady Bunch portion a lot of power in this game so far. So let's see going forward if it's reciprocated. One of the issues of last week is we talk about showing exactly where your loyalties are. And one of the problems with the alliances and the groupings that happened last week was there's no vote. So there was no way to test, right? Truly, if people were honest in terms of where they're going to put their vote. All right. So you have to build trust, all right, and prove trust constantly in this game, and they weren't able to do so. And that's where some of the folks are where they are this week. There's no trust, so therefore nothing was proven. Now everyone's fallen on the wayside. The major groupings have stuck together with the exception of Renee. Regardless. But it comes to the situation here. Hope spearheads this alliance. So Hope is close with Kuzi. Jonathan also, so he would want them to come together. He wants to merge their groups because Jonathan and Hope by themselves are slim pickings. They're easy pickings, right? So he has to do something. He sees that, Ty and Dan were teamed up with the other side of the house. And, there you go. We're a two, they're a three. We should join together. I don't know why they didn't cement anything with Santina, even on the side to say that Santina, Hope, and Jonathan should be a group in itself, with Santina being on the outs, a roaming player that they'll try their best to protect. But that's just me thinking loud. Now, there's our groups. That being said, I'm going to go back to something I said earlier, and Sam in our comments asked the question: what happens if you cannot cash them? Right, and that's in reference to writing checks in Big Brother. Okay, the currency that you have in Big Brother is your vote, your loyalty, right, and working your social game for folks, right, campaigning, right. So you're writing those checks. If you get eliminated, right, what's going to happen in terms of your vote, your social capital, right? You won't be able to do anything. You're out of the game, right? Right? If you're in the game, right, and you're put on the block, once again, you can't vote, right? Your social capital is limited because you're in that bad position. So only if you're in a good position, technically, would you have the ability to be like asked to pay, right? And that's the position at the very least you want to be in. So you write those checks, right? And hope that you're in a position that you can get called to pay, right? And you also want to motivate the person on the other side of the equation of the deal to be motivated to have you in that position for payment, to receive payment, right? So that's why you write these checks. You write them like crazy. Now, you don't want to be bouncing checks all over town, but when you're desperate, you got to do what you got to do, right? Okay. So, okay, we're gonna do a couple comments first, and then we're gonna get back to the recap just quickly. I just want you to defend yourself, Foster. So Sam asks, Foster, do not diss Jonathan.
I didn't
Foster
diss
was
him.
not dissing Jonathan at
Yeah,
all.
that's brutal. That's shady. That's come on.
Okay,
That's shoddy. That's shoddy. Not shady. Shoddy. Just Sam. Come on.
Sam, he wasn't, right? You're gonna listen back to the episode. He said nothing negative to Jonathan. And also, honestly, I don't think it's out of sorts to say something negative about Jonathan. Jonathan, this is the first time he's actually being involved in this game. He seems very much like a backseat passenger for the most part.
He seems
And
like he's having fun. It's awesome. He's
it
just
seems
like
like he's having fun, but I want him to be in a power position, right? I want him to be in a power position.
he's
He's a
not.
very likable dude,
He's
but I
not that.
just don't.
He's not that character. I can
I
tell that he's
know.
not that type of character, and he doesn't. He's it's working right now with him and Hope because Hope's actually taking
Initiative.
the initiative and step forward, right? So that's why he kind of like and Hope has shown to an extent to be an all right dude, right? Like like the letter aside, like I don't really care anything about that. That's nothing to me, right? That whole
Mhm.
incident, right? But like as when it comes to the game and as a person, like he's still a good player, right? In my opinion, right? And he was on the wrong side of getting attacked, if you will, by Zach and Ty and I guess Dan, I guess, is part of the group, but he didn't. He was just there. He was just there. He was just
That-
there.
That's Dan.
He was
That's
a
Dan.
bystander. He enabled.
Dan, I won a couple of I won some challenges, but I was just there.
I was there, and now he's on the jury, so he can't go home just yet. So,
Yeah. Well, hey, he might get some company soon, right?
here's the thing. Actually, this is a good time to ask this, then, because I had it kind of noted down. So, where do the jurors go now?
So they go to a jury house. So they do some exit press, and then they go straight to the jury house, which is usually a house up north, and they just chill until next week in the house
Okay,
by themselves.
but what's their outside contact like?
Not really.
Like they don't have their own phone yet still.
No, they shouldn't.
So they're just watching like DVDs and Blu-rays or whatever and TV shows or whatever and
I don't think they're getting to watch DVDs and TV shows. I believe, they have some activities. There's place to work out. There's pool. There's food, and everything like that.
because they're there
Um,
for a long time. Like he's gonna be there for another like month.
yeah, but he's got a week by himself.
Oh.
Look,
I
the
guess, I
first
guess,
couple of
well,
days,
I guess they're getting paid to sit around now, at least.
yeah, like they're all getting a stipend. Now, to they're like tonight, they're not going to be in the house. Tonight, they're decompressing. It's going to be in the hotel, like by the studio. He's going to be doing exit press, do exit press tomorrow morning, right? And then eventually he's going to go up there. So he might go up there maybe. Although, you know what? That being said, because of the holiday, they might push back exit press a day or so. So Saturday or Sunday, right? Goes up to the house, and then it's just a couple of days until there's someone there. Just a couple of
Okay,
days.
so what's the situation in the U.S. then? It's kind of the same idea. They just
Same same thing. Same thing.
ship them off somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. They have their own house and everything like that.
Interesting.
Do,
Okay. Well,
do you think you could survive by yourself in a house for like 4 days?
oh yeah, I think I could. I'd just be more frustrated that I couldn't watch like sports. Like if I had the necessities, like not necessities, if I had like the entertainment that I know I could get through the 4 days, I could do it. Right? It would be like, not pleasant, like I would miss like sports. You know what I mean? I'm not a big news guy, right? But like sports are good.
Okay.
But like and obviously unless there's no Big Brother or like if there was like are they watching the show at all or what's their like are they
They
just
get
told
so when they do jury segments, and so a next person comes into the jury house. So what ends up happening is they film them as like, I wonder who the next person is gonna be, and the next person comes up from the side of the house. Is like, hey, I was eliminated. They're like, oh no, I didn't think it was gonna be you, but honestly, most likely, right? And then they're like, you want to see how I got eliminated? And they'll show clips from the week. So they'll show like parts of the HOH, you know, competition. You'll see who won, and then you'll see who was put up in noms, and then you'll see the veto being played and who won the veto. All right, and the person will talk to the person who's already in the jury house and be like, yeah, this is when that happened, or blah blah blah, that happened. So they kind of like do like a brief recap, and you get the reaction from the other person, and then they spend the week together, right? They spend the week together until they do it again.
interesting and that just adds to the group, eh?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, it's a personal vacation, right?
Yeah.
Because like at that point, you can actually like I would hope you can set aside the fact that there's a game, like it's done at that point for you, right? And you just have to make a simple decision at the very end, right? Like it's a week to week. No, I think
Nope.
it is. I don't know. I think that like I think that you need to separate the game a little bit when you get evicted because you are done, right? Like you're not going back, right? So if you can actually enjoy the time with the people, right, on a personal level, I think that would be much more much easier experience.
Okay. So,
I know
a
there's gonna
little
be
cleanup.
I know there's gonna be people upset. Don't get me wrong, but all I'm saying is that the
I,
stress of the game should not be as much when you leave. That's for sure.
there's always game even in the jury house. Now, Spicy V getting
I
some
don't like that.
information from saying that they get Netflix in the jury house. That's from Spicy V. Sam mentioned that happens, and maybe other streaming services. Now, the origin of the jury house is due to Daniel Reyes. Yes. Um, so Daniel Reyes was playing Big Brother. I think it was Big Brother 4 or 5. Sorry, folks, if I don't have like a photographic memory of which season is which. But what ended up happening was they sent the jury home, and the jury watched the season at home. And then when they came back, they were not particularly pleased with one of the players who clearly played a really good game, and she didn't win. So that's why they put people in the jury house, limit what they can see, so that their decision is based on what they experienced as opposed to perceived spite or complications in the edit, right? Because also the edit is a different voice of the season as well, right?
Yeah,
That
because you're not
might
going to go back
frame
and
things
watch
in a
live
specific
feeds.
narrative. Sorry?
So you're not going to go back and watch live feeds.
Basically, yeah. Right?
That's just out of the question.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Did we
Big Brother 3.
let's talk about the POV competition.
All right. Did you like the POV competition? So this one, let me just briefly mention. So it's a weight counter competition. So they have to first escape from their jail, the bank, uh, turn off the laser lights, and then they would have to uh, get bags of various weights and put them on a weight counter, and they must get to but not exceed 500 pounds. Closest wins. There's some additional stipulations like if you can find keys, you can get items with that detail a specific weight that tell you, like, indicate what is a specific weight. So you might find, if you find the key and it's like, oh, I found something that says it's 13 pounds, so you can kind of judge it with the other weights that you're dealing with. So the competitors in this competition are uh, Daniel S. You also got Ty plus Hope plus Daniel C plus Claudia. So Foster, how'd you feel about this competition?
Well, first off, could have I did like it. I will say that I did like it, but after thinking a little bit more, it could have been as usual. My reaction, it could have been a lot harder. And I was just thinking about it right now. What they could have done is they could have done like a long stretch, right? Like no, like looking for the key, like all that, like jazzy crap or whatever, right? And they just go down the path with like the ox thing, the ox carry thing with the buckets on the side.
Okay.
Like the wood beam on the back,
Yeah.
and then it's like the hanging buckets on the side. So then you
Yeah.
go across and you fill that up with weight, and then you go and you bring it back, and you do that to bring your like something like that, right? Just add an extra element to it instead of just having to like pick up your bags and figure out, based on weight. Like if you added something else like physical to it, then not only is the body worked, but it affects the mind as well. And there wasn't that element, I thought. So it was, yeah.
Wouldn't people who are weaker have a disadvantage in that regard?
Yes, you could say that, but I think that if you gave them enough time, it wasn't about, um, um, well, no, no, no. What they would do is they would have like weighted. They could have like weighted vests or something, right? That are based on their body weight, right? To offset. Like there are ways around it. I don't know, like there, but they do account for body weight in competitions like that. There's some way. I don't know, like you know what I'm trying to get at. They're trying.
I
I'm
know
trying to
you get.
get at. It's trying to get more complicated. I'm not a freaking genius here. I was just on the spot. You're breaking me down. You and Sam are both
I'm
against me.
not. I'm
Where's
not.
Where's Dave? I need Dave on my side. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, it's like I said, like if they added a physical element to both or endurance or something like that, like tonight for the HOH competitions is just endurance.
Yep.
I'm like, what is this? This isn't. This is like the first season of Survivor, like the final. Like, isn't that what it was? They were in the water, or something like that. Like the seconds, like one of the first few seasons.
They did it for a bunch of seasons until um two people broke the game, basically, where they were there. What is Tom Wesson and the other gentleman was other gentlemen stayed for like forever, and they were like, "Can one of you please leave?" It was dark out. Like the Survivor's been doing a better job of making sure that the games don't last too long, because otherwise it just ends in a situation where it's unappealing either to film or whatever. Like, I think it was last season, two people lasted through the tide, right? And we're underwater for periods of time in a breathing challenge, and they're like, "Yeah, we gotta we gotta call this challenge because the tide is broken and it's no
Oh yeah,
longer
I
going to be
heard
high
that.
enough to be a challenge." It's like, yes, stuff like that happens, so they don't really do this. Me, on the other hand, I like a challenge like this where it's just
The
who
the,
wants
P,
it more.
the POV or the HOH?
The HOH, who wants it more? Because at the end of the day, you can't say that, oh, Ty was stronger. Ty has more body weight, right? So women usually have an advantage on this. There's usually this type of hanging challenge, or it's on like a ledge, right? And the ledge either moves forward or backwards, right? Right. Those are usually the two endurance challenges. Not my favorite endurance. My favorite endurance challenge is the pressure cooker, where it's more of a mind over matter. They put you in a little in a like a glass house, and there's a button, and you press it, and you hold on to that, and the person to let go of the button last is the person who loses. Right?
Oh my
Look
goodness.
at you shaking your head. No,
It's-
pressure cooker
it-
is awesome.
that seems like it's torture, but at the same time, it's just like it's just such a simple concept. It's just like it's just anyways. It's
Who wants it more?
I I
Like,
I I get I get it, but it's just it it like even like I'm hoping that that thing shakes tonight, like on the or on Tuesday when we see it.
it probably
It's like
will.
it will okay
It
because
probably
like
will. It'll probably shake. They're shooting them with water, so it's gonna get slippery, right? Um, there's probably gonna be
and I noticed
something that
they were probably told to be on the slanted side, like they couldn't switch over. And I'm curious at what point do they?
even if they did, it wouldn't do them any good, because if it starts shaking, right, they're gonna be messed up. And especially, you have to be careful also where you position your body, because let's say, like, you're on the slanted side all the time. That means the other side is probably going to get wet the most, right? And then what's going to happen? You're going to reposition, and it's going to be slippery. You're going to rotate back to the side that you were on, and you're going to lose your grip, right? So you need to be really smart and position yourself. One thing that I didn't hear is I hope they say you have to keep standing. You cannot kneel down, because if you can kneel down, right, you're not, your legs are stretched out. We want your legs to get tired. We want your arms to get tired. We want all your body weight to hang off your arms all the time, right? Doesn't matter if you're a Nika or you're Thai. Want all your body weight to be on those arms. So you
I
holding
was
it.
I was I was thinking that if they were told you can't use your legs, because if you could, that would be a different game.
Look, hey, if they're there all night, I'm gonna be happy.
I'm there probably will be like once again like it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock now. The episode finished. What, 2 hours ago,
Oh, well,
and
yeah. 2 hours ago,
and
the episode
and
ended, but they probably finished filming it around 5:30.
okay, fair enough. Well, I I
That's
think
typically when they record it when it's live.
yeah. Is it really now? Okay.
They do it earlier in the day. So when I went to some of the live tapings for when they did evictions, and I would have to like work a half day, all right, and then go there, line up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we'll figure out. We'll find out soon, I guess. Then, like once again, we would know if there was
Live
uh,
feeds.
live feeds, but
Live feeds.
that is not the case anymore, for at least for this season. But
So getting back to the veto, because we're
I
just
know,
going off
right?
track. We're still in the video episode. We got the final results. But even before that, we kind of see the different approaches to it. Daniel and Ty quickly figure out like some of the portion of the game, like using the bank spinner to kind of push off the beanbag to start this challenge. Hope seemed absolutely clueless for so long, right? This is not his type of challenge at all. And we see them start proceeding, and they have different approaches. Daniel finds his weight reference pretty quickly and determines that if he can judge the weight of this one in comparison to the items, he can fill up the bags to 40 bags, and it should equal around 500 or just below it. So he has his strategy. Ty is looking for a reference weight, and he spends, I think, like, I think 15 minutes just looking for it, right?
And he was
And
close too. Like he was like I think third. I think.
he was third. I have the numbers here. I brought it up. So overall, Daniel had 490. Claudio was in second place with 463. Ty was there with 418.8. Dan was at 401.6. And Hope was at 280. Right, and he
Struggled.
finished early. I was like, Hope, what is wrong with you? I looked at his bags. His bags look so light. I was like, dude, you were confused by this number. You had to have been confused. Claudia did a really good job, and um, I really wonder if she got put up, if she won, she would most likely take off Ty, and then Shania would have been put on the block.
If
Claudia won.
If Claudia won. Well, if she won because she's invisible, can she still be put up by Santina? If she
So
uses die?
okay, what I've been told, or like I guess told, or it was speculated, and I kind of agreed, is I believe like you're given a scenario as the invisible HOH. So that's like, if this person gets taken down, please put the names of two people who you'd want to put up in order.
Okay.
Right? And it'd be almost impossible if both the people are ineligible.
Okay.
Because only one person will be the veto winner, right? Who you can choose.
Yeah.
So
Okay, fair enough. I guess
but you can, I assume you will figure out who the veto winner is from that scenario.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. The comp was it was it was it Daniel won. Good. Good job. Good for him. Right. But the power kind of went to his head, and he did not kept it a secret that long. That's for sure.
Yeah. I kind of mentioned this in the last episode when we got into our spoiler section. That they did him a solid, because last week he didn't get his way and he wasn't able to save and vote for Zach. So they're like, just give it to him, which they did. They really didn't show a lot of the conversation that was in the digital dailies about Jonathan and Hope kind of eventually agreeing to, placate, Daniel C's desires. Another thing that was not included. So Daniel eventually, takes Ty off the block, and he has a conversation with him where, he waits for Ty to tell him that Renee is his target, and then he's like, okay, I'm the invisible HOH and stuff. What wasn't shown on the television was that Kuzi was having conversations with Ty, kind of leading up to Daniel having the conversation. So Ty already had suspicions as to who the veto winner was. Right? So he kind of was like, Daniel C's thing was kind of already spoiled already, which Daniel already knows that Kuzi already had a conversation with Ty before, and recognizes that Kuzi is kind of working really hard, and stole a little bit of his thunder as well. So Kuzi needs to watch out and be careful about that. Right? So what wasn't included also was Ty and Claudia has proposed to Daniel C, Anika, and uh, I can't say her name now. All of a sudden, Z uh, 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 is a 5-person alliance. So exactly the crown, but instead of Hope and Jonathan, it's Ty and Claudia, which I don't know how any of them could actually trust Ty and Claudia to work on their behalf, but they didn't necessarily agree to anything. It was just proposed, mind you. So, anyways, we see it happen. Um, Ty gets taken down, right? Claudia gets put up, which I thought was great. Claudia instead of Shania, good decision,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Well, Santina said it right because it forces Ty to vote for Dan for sure, to not think about it, and then Shania to vote for Dan as well, right? Because she's going to choose Claudia over Dan.
Yeah. It also puts more pressure in the Renee relationship because, from the girls' perspective, they are really feeling that Renee would do this to kind of separate, to get like ownership of the girls again, right? Which I don't know why they're led to believe that she would do that, but the fact that that doubt was already there, it works in Santina's favor to kind of expose those thoughts. So kudos to that. And then of course, Renee, keep your mouth shut during these like evictions and things. She's like, oh, mouth agape when people are put on the block, and it's like, look, it makes you look guilty. Even if you aren't guilty, it makes you look guilty. Stop doing that. Like, show some composure, right? So
We talked about uh like we talked about the POV, and we talked about Claudia going up. And
yeah.
then, but then we also saw that what we didn't see was that, or we didn't haven't talked about yet, is when Santina when we did a little bit, but we didn't talk about a lot. When Santina and Dan were going after each other, right? Or Dan was going after Santina, and she was doing a really poor job defending herself there, right? Because
Well,
she
that was
is,
after the Thai conversation where she was riled up,
yeah.
right?
And she just really just did not stand her ground very well, right? And she once again was inserting herself in situations that didn't need to be there. But what was funny in all of that, and I wanted to point this out, I know we don't have a clip or anything, was or an image, but was when Kuzi was dancing in her room, and she's like, "I'm
Not
safe for
me.
2 more weeks. I'm good." Oh, Dave,
I
joined
thought
by Mr. Dave Mater himself.
I see you guys were still on, so I was like, you know what, I have to stop by.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about. Have you seen the episode tonight, Dave?
I saw it. Yeah.
So
Earlier.
I was just saying about Kuzi dancing in her bedroom when
Right.
saying I'm safe for 2 weeks when Santina and Dan were going after each other.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm trying to remember that specific moment.
When they're in the kitchen. So they showed Kuzi in her bedroom twice, and she was dancing, and then she's just like, "I'm safe for 2 more weeks. I'm good." Okay. Well, you remember that, right, Jaemeel?
I'm just sorry. I'm trying to get to that clip.
Oh, you're trying to get to it?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I remember that specific moment. Maybe I missed
because they cut it so well with Kuzi in between the conversations, kind of just like, it's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like my hot take from this episode was like, okay, first of all, Santina, like this was a terrible blind HOH. This was like just Oh, here we go. Her dancing with the HelloFresh.
Yeah. Okay, that was the clip. I'm not going to show more. I don't want us to get flagged, but
yeah,
it just goes on. It gets on and on, in terms of it.
Right.
Santita not having that proper partners in the game was left there to like be embarrassed. Because if Jonathan was really on her side, Jonathan would have stepped in, right? She needed someone like Kuzi who would have shut that conversation down in like seconds, right there. Would have been done, right? But she didn't have that vocal support there. And then Ty playing his mind games. You see him just riling her up, just riling everyone up, right?
Yes.
And like Renee, I swear on my Nona. Whenever someone like swears on their family member, I'm like, I can't trust them, because I'm like, if I didn't trust you before, right? What is this additional family member that I've never met before?
Who you might be making up? Probably know.
Like I swear on my grandmother. My grandmother passed away already. What does that mean? Right?
Yeah,
they could be Johnny Fair playing me, right?
There's no weight of it because you don't know about them on a personal level.
Yeah, like Johnny Fairplay played this exact thing years ago. I don't trust people when they don't, like, people swearing on Bibles, people swearing on these things. I don't know what it means to you, really. Right?
Yeah, well, I guess how else can you make a promise in there? Would you believe any promise you're given, no matter what, right?
Write checks. Write as many checks as you possibly can.
What would you believe? Like, what would you accept from other people? Like people like, here's my wedding ring, or this is. Like,
I wouldn't believe that. It's either I believe you or I don't.
You would, but what is there? Would you always doubt everybody, or could you believe somebody?
I have to only trust people's motivations. That's the only thing that I can honestly trust, right? People's motivations, unless the person's just a wild card player that's like, I do what I feel like in the moment, right?
Right.
Which majority of the people aren't, because they always vote with the house. So there's
one way or another, it leaks out that who's voting for who, and the majority or the unanimous vote happens typically.
Yeah, everyone votes for the house for the most part, so all the work is done ahead of time.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that there's a 5-person alliance that's slowly taking over the game.
It depends on who wins HOH, though.
The people who are pouring the crowns on themselves in the diary room with their votes.
As mentioned in the last
Jane
episode.
had to remind me about this. I was like, what are they doing? Oh, this is a thing?
I told you about it last episode.
I know, I knew about it, but I guess I just didn't give it a lot of credit that it was going to actually last. I wasn't...
True. We didn't really see the girly pops indicate that they were in a group when they voted.
The girly pops, the girls alliance is dead. Like, this is never going to happen now.
Oh yeah. They can't get along. The girls cannot get along.
A couple of them, like 3 of them can maybe, but like
3 is the max amount of girls in a group.
I disagree.
After that, they can't get together. They can't get along together.
I disagree in terms of they can't get along. The problem is not that they can't get good along, that they like guys more than they like the girls, right?
Yeah.
So
who doesn't?
Like, which side do you feel wasn't into the alliance? Do you think the girly pops were into the alliance, or do you think it was Kuzi and Anika who wasn't into the alliance?
I think it's a lot of them. I think it's also Claudia and even Nene and all that. I think that they're looking at Renee as this big.
Okay, hold on.
CC and Nene, or we're not doing it?
Stop. We already talked about this earlier in this episode. I hate these nicknames. These sound stupid.
Well, come on, we have to learn all their names. Tattoo Dan.
Tattoo Dan. I like DJ Dan. That's his name.
It's better than Tattoo Dan for sure.
Tattoo Dan. Or George Michael Dan. with his his hanging earring that you
those
love so
earrings.
much.
I was like, good, evict him out of here. Oh wait, he's only the third one evicted in the entire season, and he's the
I did
first
jury.
juror. And he's the
I did
first
jury.
juror. That's got to be a record.
Now that Dave's here,
Yes.
you know what I'm gonna do? Where is it? I need to find it.
Do you guys need to update on the draft, or you got to go to the dress?
We will. Oh, we will.
You know I'm
we
looking
will
for the
need an update-
dress.
We will need an update on the draft tonight.
The dress. Yeah. Okay, I liked it. It was good. The cape. It had a cape.
No, thumbs down. If I'm gonna say anything on this one, it's a thumbs down. I don't like the cape.
Why can't capes come back? I think we need them back in dresses, especially. Maybe
You're hoping
know?
Landell Calrissian and Solo was gonna bring it back, and it didn't happen.
Well, I think Arissa's trying to bring it back, and I think it might. It's gonna happen. I'm with you, Arissa. This is all fine.
Okay, so I spoke to my sister about this because I knew that I would have this conversation with you, Dave. She was not feeling. She likes to dress. She just doesn't like it on Arissa. She's felt that other people have worn it and it fit them a lot better.
Well, I'd like to see an example, but I trust your sister's judgment on it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I could see that, but I was okay with the style. She's definitely worn things I don't like more than this, and I'd say that it was pretty good. I thought that I wish Arissa did more narration like Julie Chen does when people are coming in and out of the diary room. I never realized how much I miss that sometimes, where Julie Chen's like, so and so is an alliance with so and so. Their vote should be obvious, but we'll see how it lands.
Or unless she doesn't trust BB Can production to turn off the microphone when they're coming in and out. Because they're so understaffed, supposedly. You know whose outfit I didn't like?
Who?
Sorry, I'm trying to get to it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Not a fan.
Yeah,
Not a fan.
I like the color, but it's okay. Like a lot of Shania's choices are interesting. They're very expressive, and that's great. I just think that some of them, I don't know. It's for Shania's fashion is a little hit and miss for me, but
Okay. One more fashion point. This is for Foster. Competition outfits. How did you feel? For the HOH.
They're fine. They're basic. They're torn up a little bit. They're not super preppy. It's fine.
Okay.
Because what are they like? They were like some kind of French lighthouse operators.
No, they're seamen. They're like
He said seamen.
Yeah, they're seamen.
Seamen.
They're sailors. You say? Okay.
The high seas.
But Santina can't win this.
So she's gonna have to drop.
She has to throw it.
Yeah.
She can't make it too
obvious. What do you mean? Why does she have to drop?
Because she was already HOH.
Yeah, so she can't win this. You can't win it.
Can't be back to back HOH.
What are they gonna do?
Well,
they're gonna say okay. You ask that question, and then they're like, Santina, you were HOH last week. Sorry, we have to expose you. Thing is the winner of thing. They will do that. They tell them ahead of time, Santina, you cannot win this HOH, so you're gonna have to throw it to ensure that you keep your anonymity.
Right.
Anonymity.
So that's fair.
It's like, unless you want us to expose that you were HOH, because we're gonna have to, because you put us in that position. Right, so you got to drop. They've done it before in anonymous weeks. They've done it before.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Any predictions for who will win this next HOH?
Endurance one?
Yeah.
I would say either Claudia or Anika.
Yeah, I was thinking Anika. Kuzi, I think.
No, Kuzi's not winning this one.
No, you don't think so?
No, she is not going to put herself in a position. If she's smart, she's not going to put herself in a position where she has any power right now. because her power is in her social capital and not in, Santino already has 2 HOHs. Santino is already on people's radar before her.
Fair enough.
Ty hasn't won an HOH yet. Like,
right.
Like,
I don't think Ty won't win this particular challenge.
Yeah.
Sam is predicting Jonathan.
Of course, okay.
Or Claudia.
If Jonathan or Claudia had one leg, you would still pick them to choose.
Or Renee. Arm. He's willing to throw in for Renee, even though she's from Vaughn.
All the people you like, Sam, right?
Isn't Jonathan isn't like a fisherman or something like that?
Yes.
So he's used to it. He should be built for this.
He's still trying to figure out who done it, guys.
Welcome to Who Doing It Week.
Come out wherever you are.
Let's play.
That's a good clip. I have to give you kudos on that one.
I like the ending of it.
Who done it?
Ending freaks me out. That's just me.
Yeah.
Jonathan, look, yes, he's a fisherman. Fishermen don't I'm gonna hang on a buoy for about 20 hours. That's not they fish. They don't hang on buoys.
I think somebody smaller, a woman, I think will likely win this challenge, and I think it will be probably like Claudia or Anika or.
Okay, who's not winning this? Hope.
I don't think Hope is winning this. I think it's unlikely that Ty is winning this.
Hope is gonna do something stupid, like try to do pull-ups or something, and then accidentally fall off.
Yeah,
it's not his type of competition where he has to wait and not do anything.
I don't think Kuzi will win either, but I could be mistaken.
I will say it's interesting, Dave, that you said that Claudia is kind of your lead pick for the HOH, because I thought that what she did tonight, she really campaigned well. I will give her the way that they edited the conversations, she seemed like she came across in different conversations in different settings with good points to bring across, right? And it seems to me that she's kind of fired up right now, and she could make a run, like you said, Dave, at this HOH, right? She has a real shot at this one.
Well, she's got motivation too, right? She has incentive having been on the block and having survived the block. Now, why get
and
power
making
back?
Sure that Ty stays in the game, because believe it or not, I don't buy her one bit that she, is in any motivation to get rid of Ty anytime soon.
No.
Right?
She's keeping Ty around.
She is sleeping in the same bed with this dude. They are not getting rid of each other anytime soon.
I agree. She's fully in on it, and he seems as well. I think that they potentially are going to be a thing outside of this house afterwards, unless you never know. We'll have to see how this plays out. But.
Me personally, if I was I would be concerned if Claudia wins, if I was the crown, because I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of Ty. If Ty wins, he's putting up Santina and he's putting up Renee.
Yeah. Guys, right? Have you talked about how bad Santina played this and how bad she came across in this episode in particular?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I did touch upon the fact that she was following people around. She was kind of inserting herself in conversations that didn't need to happen. She was letting it boil over to a point where she was lost control of the situation on her regard, and she turned messy, right? But once again, she didn't lay low. Right, she kind of
she was trying to sell this lie, that she, a couple of lies, and she was doing such a bad job that she was just being confrontational with people. Therefore, it led to these huge blow-ups. One with Ty, one with Dan.
I think I think both are actually Ty's fault and not Santina. Santina fell for it, and that was the issue.
Okay,
not
well,
Santina.
fair enough, but Santina, but even the way she tried to sell it to. Why are you looking at me? It could be anybody. And, just her play over this week, I think, has been messy, unconvincing. If this is her idea, don't give her the Oscar, give her the Razzie, for the worst actress ever. Because I wouldn't be buying anything she's selling in that house. The fact that they think that Renee is potentially working with her, I guess, is her only sort of like things she's managed to do by accident, but that's not even deliberate. She's just trying to put the suspicion onto Renee. Renee can't even convince anybody that she has nothing to do with any of this. That Santina's HOH was
Renee just has played a poor game as well, and I think that she did not do herself any favors this week either.
Yeah, like I think that Renee, the whole thing with Renee and Santina, they were hard. It was hard to watch at times in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah, they did not do themselves any favors at all. So
no, it was just like this feud between them, and the way they like. I think even the way Renee handled it, but the way that like Santina was very confrontational, but like not in like any kind of a fun TV way, just in kind of like an awkward way.
Yeah,
So,
but like if you're by yourself, you need to like. I didn't understand why Hope didn't try to pick her up as a number, right? Or even Renee, it's like, hey, like I don't know if you're HOH or not, but like, why do we should think about doing something together. Like even like once again, you write those chats, right? Whenever there's someone who's in a least powerful position, right? Try to see if you can scoop them up, right?
right.
Like if she's not with Ty anymore, then she's by herself. Why not grab her? I didn't understand that. Like, don't just be aggro, right? You want numbers, get numbers. Even if it's just like in your back pocket that you have someone who's gonna vote with you, especially if there's gonna be 2 sides of the house that are possibly going to be clashing heads. Right? She's a piece in the middle, grab her. And then get rid of her.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't think a lot of these players are really thinking like 2 or 3 steps ahead right now. I think that there's just a lot of like people who are just want to get through the week constantly. But now that they're in the jury phase, maybe that thinking will start to change.
All the people who miss home are going to start like, doing those subtle hints about like, I played as well as I could kind of thing. It's like, some people get just tired of the house. Right? So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Like the routine of it all.
Once again, I love Kuzi. Just dancing is like, I'm free for 2 weeks. No one's going to be looking at me for 2 weeks. So
yeah, well, I have Kuzi in the draft, and maybe that's a good segue for us to bring that in. Because I know you haven't had it in a little while, but like, yeah, we're in the jury phase. Who's got who right now, and who could potentially win the glory, guys? Let's have a look. Team Foster now only consists of Ty.
Looking better than last week, that's for sure. At least in terms of longevity.
Well, yeah, he nearly walked. You nearly had 2 walkers on Team Foster, but Ty is still in there, hanging on with Claudia. Team Amanda has Daniel and Anika. Jaemeel, what do you think of this team?
Wait, it's the Daniel that doesn't suck, right? Or I guess both kind of.
They kind of both. Both Daniels that do suck.
Daniel
but
C,
the one that's still in the game.
Okay. Anika's playing a much better game now, and I think she might.
Grab a seat.
That's 2 seasons ago. So yeah, Anika is, interestingly enough, really picking up steam. And I don't know. I think she might do well. A lot more. Daniel's playing too messy, and like.
No, I'm not liking Daniel's game so far, or the fact that he saved Ty. This was bullshit. It was dumb. I hated it. And the fact that he wants to be a cool kid. This Daniel, he wants to like suck up to these people like Ty. Like this, you don't need these people's approval, but you have these deep-seated insecurities, Daniel, and you got to get over them. That's my little take on Daniel. As for Anika, she's just kind of like the floater who hangs on with Kuzi. She's Kuzi's like sort of like secretary, as far as I can tell.
She has a final 2 with Daniel C.
It doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
if Kuzi is the brains of that trio, and without Kuzi, like it will be no more. So hopefully she can hang on. Let's talk about Team Jane, Shania and Satina. Foster, which of these two do you like better? Do you like both? Like their chances of winning the game?
I'd say Santina. Sorry, Shania and
Shania and Santina, yes.
Santina. Shania is gonna last longer than Santina.
But I don't think Shania has a chance of winning.
Can Shania win the game?
No.
Okay.
Santina could win the game though.
Santina could win the game.
Claudia will carry Shania.
Yeah,
but
Santina
I don't think
can actually win.
She could, but I don't think she will.
True,
because I think she'll talk people out of it by the end. But if she gets up there, Santina will be her own worst enemy. But let's talk about a real contender, Kuzi, who I think can win this game.
I think she has a good sense of the game. So
could go deep. What about your pick there, Jonathan?
Jonathan is going to win America's favorite player if Kuzi doesn't win.
Canada's.
Except Canada's. Well, look, he's going to be America's favorite player because North America is watching it, and Jonathan is great for all of North America.
He's going to be the most popular in Big Brother 25 in the U.S. as well. Sometime this season.
I think so. He's such a he's like a righteous dude. I like him.
Could be. Who else we got? We got Jen has Hope. Can Hope win this game?
Maybe like a long shot.
He has a hope. Does he have a hope?
No. He has a hope, but he doesn't have a prayer.
Foster, there are too many mental comps at the end of the game. There's no way this dude is winning.
No
way.
I think they could give him a competition. Hope's head would just explode. Right there.
He got 290 tonight. 290.
Yeah,
he was nowhere close.
Renee is also, I think, a long shot to win this.
Oh god,
she's too hot and heavy right now. She's under fire.
After tonight's episode, no way.
Claudia can win this game.
Well, she'll set the table for Ty to win.
Could we see Claudia and Ty as the final two?
Gosh, I hope not.
I think, but it's possible, right?
Oh Lord, Beth. It'll be Beth and what's his name again?
There's not that many people left now. Now that we see Dan got voted out here tonight, only the third evicted, of course. That I think that there's only a few people left, and how many people are left in this game? 1, 2, 3,
11?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 people left. So Ty's one of them. Claudia is one of them.
10, and then we have a group of 5.
And a group of 5, which includes Hope. And so who's the group of 5? Hope, Kuzi. Yeah, who Hope and Kuzi.
So it's the Shady Bunch, which is Daniel C, Anika, and Kuzi, and then you have Jonathan and Hope.
Jonathan's in it too. Okay.
Yeah. And then Ty and Claudia has come to the Shady Bunch and suggested alliance like the Crown, but with them instead of Hope and Jonathan.
Is Claudia is not in the Crown, right?
No, she's in the Ty group that they're trying to create with the Shady Bunch.
Who's the Shady Bunch?
Anika, Kuzi, and Daniel C. They have their own alliance in the alliance.
Oh, okay. So many alliances.
Yeah, the Girly Pops.
Girly Pops. Okay. Interesting. Okay, are you guys excited about the going into this jury phase? Do you feel like that there's going to be a lot more I think like there's some legitimate contenders for who can win, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how these alliances play out, and if some more like distinct sides of the house form going into this next HOH, where you actually know who the HOH is and who they're nominating.
I think things will really pick up once Kuzi's game is blown up, or there's a resolution in terms of Claudia Ty right now. Once those two dominoes fall, it's going to be all out war and every person for themselves, really. And I can't wait.
There you go. Yeah, Foster?
It'll be fun.
It will be fun. We got a lot of fun coming up here, guys. But I guess we're heading into Easter weekend, Good Friday tomorrow, holiday weekend, time with family, time with friends, Easter egg hunts, all kinds of things like that, right?
You mean work assignments? Yes.
Like editing, perhaps for me. We'll see.
Oh. I got a trading website to make.
What about you, Foster? What are your plans for Easter weekend?
Family and relaxation, pretty much.
You're doing it right.
Just
I know that sounds way better than what Jaemeel talked about, which was work assignments.
I value my day off on my God-given day off. Literally,
yeah, it's God-given. It's from Jesus died for this day. You know,
so it's we won't get into the whole ethical situation of that, but we'll
we'll see how much fish you're eating tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? True. Yeah, you can't eat red meat, but good thing I barely eat meat.
I think McDonald's might be, fillet of fish, of course.
Fillet of fish, yeah.
Chicken. No, you can't have chicken, can you?
No.
Damn. Close.
Chicken meat?
I was stuck it by.
So fillet of fish as fish is not chicken.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that at chicken. I said I just was chicken a part of the
you'd be a terrible vegan.
Chicken's not vegan?
Chicken's not vegan?
Chicken
Parmesan? Chicken isn't vegan?
Chicken's not vegan?
Yeah, gelato. Gelato isn't vegan?
It's good. Milks and eggs, bitch.
Yeah. Milk and eggs.
Yeah. No vegan diet, no vegan powers. That's the rule.
That was a couple of days ago, April 4th.
April 4th. First contact day was just yesterday, April 5th.
Which we got a comment about earlier. Hold on. Thank you, Sam. As Sam wishes us happy first contact day. Thank you very much.
It was actually yesterday, but thank you, Sam.
But belated.
It's all all very good. Yeah, like a Star Trek day. When Zephram Cochrane, when I'm 80 years old, we'll make first contact with the Vulcans and start a whole new age for humanity. Are you excited about that, Foster? You'll be 70, so you'll be
sure. I'll be hip. I'll be hip and young, so I'll have to host all
the Vulcan's technology will extend your life. Don't worry, you'll be good.
Yeah, you won't even care that you lived through World War III.
Oh my goodness! I as long as I don't make it to World War V, we're good.
No, we're not even to 4, so it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
that's inevitable.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
We got some bills to play, some babies to kiss. Dave, why don't you mention what else we do here at Super Mater Brothers?
Well, do you know we're covering Survivor season 44 right now on Wednesdays? They just got to the merge. They're in their mergatory phase. It's a pretty cool season. If you haven't been checking it out already, check out our reactions to those episodes on Wednesdays. Of course, we're doing Big Brother Canada 11. You would know that if you're gotten this far in the podcast. And we also like to do some other things like Marvel podcasts, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, most recently Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but a whole bunch of other ones too. And in the near future, we'll be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But Jaemeel, we're also part of a greater federation of podcasts. If you didn't know, a great network, which of course it features a Star Trek themed channel called Live Long and Podcast, which is all kinds of great Star Trek reviews, which I came from tonight talking about Star Trek Picard. I was on there with Davan and Murphy talking about Star Trek Picard, the most recent episode, Surrender, from season 8. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jaemeel.
I haven't, but I will be seeing it after my family leaves and I watch.
There was it had its moments. It had some big moments in it. So enjoy that when you get to it. Foster, of course, you're going to watch it. I think you'll like it too. You don't have to be an old time fan, but we have all kinds of great podcasts over there on Live Long and Podcasts, including Locutors of Trek and our Science Division debates and radio theater and tons of fun Star Trek podcasts. So check those great things out. Also, we have, like Davan has a Simpsons podcast on Fridays called KBBBL, where they talk about those episodes. Hold Up every second Wednesday, where him and Murphy talk about 3 movies and a theme.
Or delayed.
or
Let's
delayed
wait another
in
week.
the near future. They could talk about like hackers in the net and Kimbo something or other.
Guns Akimbo, jeez.
Guns Akimbo, and then Graphics History Podcast with Andre Mayant, where he does some great interview podcasts. You should definitely check those out. They're very, very interesting. X-Rated X-Men the Animated Series Review Show on Tuesdays with Andre and Davan. The Hellbound Podcast, yes, with Alex Blackburn, Michael Chan, and Trivial Debates. We also do which is host
Saving the
guests.
best for last.
Most recently, there was Chris Worldman Murphy hosting a wrestling themed episode with Jaemeel and Jason and Andre and that one. But the newest member of the podcast, guys, Eamon on Track, coming your way this weekend with its debut episode. First episode, we're going to be talking about the Hamilton album.
Okay.
He and
I've never watched Hamilton, and the only song I know is "My Shot" because people do it constantly at karaoke.
well, there's some great songs in that show. So we're going to be talking about that this weekend. So check out me and Eamon on the new channel, Eamon on Track.
Will you be rapping these songs during the episode?
No, I that's not it's not like a performance channel per se.
Oh, no, you're not going to say a couple lyrics, a couple lines.
We might like play clips, but I wasn't planning to like actually be the karaoke.
I would love for you to do a bar, and then Eamon goes bars.
Bars, yeah, no, but we can talk about the album and all the tracks on it, like Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr, Sir. There's some good songs. So, all right, well, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next time. I'll play us out.
Sure.
All right.
Have a good
Happy
one.
Easter. Happy
care.
Good Friday and all that. Go.